Now, it is the middle of July. If you walk your dog in this summer heat, I need you to pause and listen to this very carefully. Right now, most dog owners are terrified of heat stroke. You are taking every single precaution you can. You have checked the pavement with your hand to make sure it isn't too hot. You brought extra water to prevent heat stroke. You feel like the ultimate responsible pet parent. But what if I told you that the most dangerous thing on your walk isn't the temperature? What if I told you that hiding right there in the grass, brushing gently against your dog's paws and nose, is a silent assassin that veterinarians dread far more than heat stroke? Heat stroke is a terrible emergency, but it happens quickly, and we can usually cool a dog down and treat it immediately. But this hidden danger, it acts like a ticking time bomb. It can quietly attach to your dog today, remain completely invisible for weeks, and then slowly and violently migrate through their bloodstream, their lungs, or even their brain, causing a fatal emergency 30 days from now. I know that sounds terrifying. As a pet parent, hearing that there is a lethal, invisible threat lurking in your own neighborhood park induces pure anxiety. I see the devastation of this specific summer danger in the clinic every single week during the hot months. Previously, when discussing stress-free nail clipping, many people mentioned that they don't really need to clip their dog's nails because they go for long walks on the concrete, and the pavement files them down naturally. And you know what? That is completely right. Walking on rough surfaces is a fantastic, natural way to keep those nails short. But, in this extreme summer heat, shifting your walks away from the blistering hot pavement and onto the cool, dry grass brings a whole new set of rules. You are trading one hazard for another. By trying to save their paws from the hot concrete, you are walking them right into a hidden minefield. Dogs are brought into surgery requiring massive incisions to track down something the size of a fingernail that they picked up right off the turf. But fear comes from a lack of education. Today, we are going to fix that. We are going to expose the hidden summer threat known as the foxtail weed. I will teach you the horrifying biological design of this plant, exactly how it travels through a dog's body, and the 3 silent symptoms that tell you your dog is in a medical crisis. Most importantly, I will give you a 60-second post-walk triage hack to guarantee your dog never falls victim to this plant. Before you can protect your dog from it, you must know what it is. A foxtail is a very specific type of tall, grassy weed found all over the world, especially in dry, warm climates during the summer and early fall. At the very top of this weed is a cluster of seeds. It looks a bit like the bushy tail of a fox, which is how it got its name. But we are not concerned with the entire plant. We are only concerned with the seed heads, also known as awns. To a human eye, a foxtail seed just looks like a dry, brittle piece of grass. But if you were to put that seed under a high-powered microscope, you would see a marvel of evolutionary engineering. You would see a weapon. A foxtail seed is covered in microscopic, razor-sharp barbs. These barbs are all angled in one exact direction. This means that mechanically, a foxtail can only travel forward. It is physically impossible for it to move backward. I want you to think of a fish hook. When a fish hook goes into the skin, the barb prevents it from slipping back out. A foxtail operates on the exact same brutal physics. When your dog runs through a patch of dry grass, these brittle seed heads break off the stem and get caught in your dog's fur. As your dog moves, the friction of their movement forces the foxtail to begin a forward journey. The sharp tip pierces the skin effortlessly. Once it is through the skin, the microscopic barbs lock into the muscle tissue. Your dog cannot shake it out. Your dog cannot scratch it out. Every single time the dog's muscles contract, The foxtail is pushed deeper and deeper into their body. But it gets worse. Unlike a wooden splinter or a thorn, a foxtail seed contains a plant enzyme that resists being broken down by the dog's immune system. White blood cells cannot destroy it. Stomach acid cannot melt it. It just keeps traveling forward, like a rogue bullet, leaving a massive infected hollow tunnel of rotting tissue behind it. It is an absolute nightmare of a plant, but do not panic yet. You're going to learn how to spot it before the journey ever begins. Foxtails can attach to any part of your dog, but there are 3 specific, highly vulnerable areas of the canine body where this weed prefers to enter. As an owner, these are the zones you must monitor with extreme vigilance. The first and most common entry point is the paw. When a dog walks through the grass, their paws spread out to grip the earth. Between their toes is a very thin, delicate, sensitive webbing of skin. Foxtails frequently get wedged right up inside this webbing. The dog takes a step, the toes close together, and the foxtail is instantly driven right through that soft skin. Once inside the paw, the foxtail travels up the leg. In the clinic, foxtails have been seen entering between the toes on Monday, and by Friday, they have traveled all the way up the forearm, entering the chest cavity and piercing the lungs. The second deadliest entry point is the nose. Dogs experience the world through smell. Their nose is practically glued to the ground on a walk. If a dog deeply inhales a dry foxtail seed, it shoots directly up the nasal cavity. The barbs lock into the soft sinus tissue. This is incredibly dangerous because the foxtail is now millimeters away from the brain, and it has a direct, unobstructed highway down the windpipe and straight into the lungs. The third most dangerous entry point is the ears. This is especially true for dogs with floppy, heavy ears like golden retrievers, doodles, and spaniels. When a foxtail drops into the ear canal, it gets funneled straight down to the bottom. Remember that dogs have a deep L-shaped ear canal. The foxtail travels to the very bottom, hitting the delicate eardrum. As the dog shakes their head, trying to get it out, the violent shaking actually forces the sharp tip to pierce and rupture the eardrum, causing excruciating pain, permanent deafness, and severe vertigo. So, we know where they enter. But how do you know if your dog actually has one? They are invisible once they go under the skin. I'm going to teach you the specific warning signs that tell you to drop everything and call your vet. Warning sign number 1 is the violent sneeze. Now, dogs sneeze all the time. Sometimes it is just dust or excitement, but a foxtail sneeze is completely different. If your dog gets back from a summer walk and they suddenly begin sneezing 10, 15, or 20 times in a row without stopping, that is a massive red flag. A dog with a foxtail in their nose will panic. They will violently sneeze, striking their nose on the carpet or frantically pawing at their own face with both front feet, trying to dislodge the pain. They might suddenly develop a bloody nose from a single nostril. If you see this violent, frantic sneezing attack after being outdoors, do not wait to see if it stops. You must get to the vet clinic so they can safely sedate the dog and extract it with a scope before it travels to the lungs. Warning sign number 2 is the obsessive paw licking. If your dog is quietly laying on the couch and they suddenly begin frantically licking or biting at one specific paw, you must intervene. Part the fur between their toes and look at the webbing. You might not see the foxtail itself, but you will see a bright red, swollen, raised bump that looks exactly like a large pimple. There will often be a tiny hole in the center, slowly oozing fluid or blood. That is called a draining tract. It means the foxtail has already burrowed completely through the skin, and the body is trying desperately to flush out the bacteria it dragged in with it. Do not attempt to squeeze this lump like a pimple. Squeezing it can actually force the foxtail to snap in half or plunge even deeper into the tissue. Next, warning sign number 3 is the head tilt. If a foxtail has dropped into the ear canal, the pain is intense. Your dog will shake their head aggressively. But more importantly, they will walk around with their head tilted severely to one side, holding the painful ear lower to the ground. They will cry or pull away sharply if you try to touch the side of their head. This requires immediate veterinary intervention to protect the tympanic membrane. I know this sounds terrifying. The thought of a microscopic weed causing a multi-thousand-dollar surgery is completely overwhelming. But you have absolute control over this. You have the power to stop the journey before it begins. This is the 60-second post-walk triage. This is a non-negotiable summer rule. Every single time you bring your dog back inside from a walk near dry grass or weeds, you do not let them go lay down. You stop them at the front door. You are going to do a rapid 60-second physical examination. Start with the face. Run your hands over their snout, feeling their whiskers and around their lips. Check the edges of their eyes. Then, lift both ear flaps. You don't need a tool. Just use your fingers to gently wipe the inside of the leather flap and remove any dry seeds resting near the opening of the canal. Next, we check the hidden zones. Run your hands underneath their collar. Foxtails love to wedge themselves in the thick fur under collars or harnesses, waiting to burrow into the neck. Run your hands down to their armpits and into their groin area. These high-friction spots act like magnets for dry brush. Finally, the most important step. Pick up every single paw. Use your thumbs to physically spread their toes apart. Look deep into the webbing of all 4 feet, checking the top of the paw and the bottom underneath. If your dog has very hairy feet, like a golden retriever or an Aussie, you must use a fine-tooth metal comb to brush through the fur between the toes. If you find a foxtail just resting in the fur, simply pluck it out with your fingers and throw it in the trash. If you find one that is barely stuck into the top layer of skin, like a tiny splinter, but a large portion is still sticking out, you can take a pair of tweezers, grip the base firmly, and pull it straight backward. Clean the area with mild soap, and you have officially saved the day. It takes exactly 60 seconds to check your dog, and those 60 seconds will save you immense heartache. Now, if you are a truly vigilant pet parent, or if you live in an area heavily infested with wild dry grass, you might want an even stronger line of defense. This involves protective gear and grooming hacks. If your dog is a heavy-coated breed, you have to be proactive in the summer. For poodles, doodles, spaniels, and retrievers, you must ask your groomer for a summer paw shave. You want the groomer to take their clippers and completely shave out the excess fur sticking out from between the dog's toes and paw pads. So, by removing the Grinch feet hair, you remove the very thing the foxtail needs to catch onto. Without thick fur to grip, the weed simply bounces off the foot. You will instantly be able to see the bare skin between the toes during your post-walk triage, completely removing the guesswork. If you live in high-risk areas like the dry regions of California or the arid West, where hiking without hitting a foxtail is impossible, it is time to invest in physical barriers. For the paws, summer dog booties are an absolute lifesaver. Not only do they protect the paws from hot pavement burns, but a solid mesh bootie completely eliminates the threat of a foxtail piercing the toe. But what about the nose and ears? There is a brilliant, highly effective product on the market right now called a foxtail mask. It is a lightweight, breathable, transparent mesh hood that slides gently over your dog's entire head. It looks a little silly, resembling a beekeeper's mask, but it is pure veterinary genius. The dog can pant perfectly. They can drink water through it. They can see beautifully. But the incredibly fine mesh acts as an impenetrable shield. No foxtail can reach their nose, their eyes, or their ears while they are diving face first into the wild summer grass. If you have an active hunting dog or an avid hiker, the mesh hood is an absolute non-negotiable investment. But let's take it a step closer to your home. You might think your dog is completely safe just letting them out to pee in your own yard. Huge mistake. If you have wild barley or foxtail grass creeping along your fence line, you need to destroy it immediately. Do not just mow over it. Mowing acts like a blender. It snaps the dry seed heads off and scatters them all over your lawn, turning your yard into a literal minefield. Instead, put on heavy gloves, pull them out by the roots when the soil is damp, and drop them straight into a trash bag like a biohazard. If you use a targeted weed killer, keep your dogs completely out of the yard until it's 100% dry. Don't let your own backyard become a Trojan horse. Secure the home front, and you eliminate half the danger before you even put the leash on. Okay, we have covered incredible ground today. I know that diving deep into the grim medical reality of what a foxtail can do to internal organs is difficult to hear. It is much easier to just stay ignorant and hope for the best. But ignorance is incredibly expensive, and it puts our best friends at massive risk. The simple fact that you care enough to sit here and learn the biology of a weed and memorize the symptoms of the violent sneeze or the licking paw tells me exactly what kind of incredible guardian you are. You are not letting fear dictate your summer. You are letting education and proactive triage keep your dog perfectly safe. You now have the power to walk your dog confidently, knowing that no matter what brushes against them in the grass, you will find it, pluck it, and eliminate the threat within 60 seconds of coming home. Your dog trusts you completely to look out for them, and you are living up to that trust brilliantly. Now, I want to know about your local environments. Are foxtails and dry summer weeds a major problem where you live? Have you ever had a massive scare having to pull one out of your dog's ear or paw? Drop your story down in the comments below. I absolutely love reading them, and your experience might serve as a vital warning for another panicked owner reading through the comments right now. Check those paws tonight. Stay vigilant, and I will see you all in the very next video. If this story changed how you view the weeds in your path, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. We are uncovering the hidden dangers that threaten our companions every day. Protect the future of your pets. Our next guide to safety will be revealed soon.